Hey, how are you today? This is Josh Patrick, and you're Cracking the Cash Flow Code. And my guest today is Mark Newsome, and Mark is an expert in creating cash flow. He is from, oops, I didn't save his stuff, so I can't tell you who it is. You can find Mark. We'll have Mark tell you where you can find him during the show. But unfortunately, I screwed that up. Sorry about that, Mark. So let's bring
No
Mark
problem.
on, and we'll start the conversation. Hey, Mark, how are you today?
I'm good, Josh. Thanks so much for allowing me to be a guest. This is a pleasure.
So I have a question for you. You have a very interesting thing here. You say that you have a system for turning a one-time customer into a long-term repeat customer. And I love long-term repeat customers
Absolutely.
because that creates recurring cash flow.
Yes,
So how
sir.
do you go about doing that?
Well, let's take a really super simple, non-techie example because I'm a simple guy, Josh. Let's suppose you own a fabulous single mom and pop location gourmet coffee shop. And everybody just they love your coffee. They Josh has got the best gourmet coffee in the area. Okay, here's the issue. People come in, and let's say I call it your big gulp. This is a extremely large plastic cup that people buy, say $5.79, right? Well, here's what you could do. Instead of paying $5.79 each time they come, why don't you do this? The first time they purchase, you charge them $5.79, but then you tell them, hey, every time you bring this plastic cup back, now you only pay $1.99. Well, where do you think they're going to shop for their gourmet coffee more often now, Josh? You or Dunkin' Donuts? No way. They're coming to you. And let's just play with some math. Let's suppose they were coming once a week. That's 4 times in a month. And in a 5-week month, that's 5 times. Now, with this simple marketing strategy, they're averaging 3 times a week times 52 weeks. Do the math there, ladies and gentlemen. And let's be honest, they're not just going to buy a cup of coffee for $1.79 or $2.19. Now they're going to add the bagels with cream cheese, the donuts, the this, the that. This is how you turn a one-shot customer into a long-term, not only repeat customer, but what I like to say in this modern era, Ron, a word of mouth and mouse, customer, which means they're all over social media bragging about Josh's gourmet coffee and beverages.
So, Mark, I have a question for you. I want to change industries on you, and I
Okay.
hope I don't make it too difficult.
No, come on.
Most of the listeners in our on this podcast are from the subcontracting world in the construction industry.
Ah,
So, how would they go about creating repeat customers? Because obviously, they're not going to, sell you for $1.99. Hope you come back 3 times
right.
a week.
They'll be upside down. That's an excellent
Right.
question, but let's structure it just a little different. Here's what I want to know from the subcontractors. A, who is your ideal customer or customers? Is there an industry? And then is there something we can widgetize? What I mean by that is you don't have to make 100% retail. Could you get by with maybe making 60% retail so that this expands your word of mouth and mouse? I'd be
The
willing to
answer,
bet
the
if
answer is Mark. Mark, the answer is no.
no, there's
You
not.
can't. No way. If I'm selling something for $10,000, there's no way I can sell it for $6,000.
Oh no, agreed. That's not where I'm going. What I'm saying is there's a part of your business that just like every other business or service like me, that you've got some major profit built into. So let's say you got
Not
a
in the
3,000.
not in the construction world. There isn't.
Well, wait a minute.
I've got
If you're
material. I've got labor. I've got people who I've got to bring on site. I don't have 40% margin in
no,
anything I'm
no.
doing. In fact, if I have 10%, I'm lucky.
Okay, let's work with the 10% then. So you're saying if something costs $10,000, you're gonna make, I mean, you've got $1,000 spread, correct?
I have $1,000 net profit. I don't have a
Net
$1,000
profit.
spread.
Okay. Well,
Yes.
okay, fine. Let's do this then. Instead of you banking on just trying to gross that $1,000, let's set it up so that when you do this service for me, I'm going to tell 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people, maybe in the same industry, so that now It's not, I got this job and I'm waiting on the next job. Now you got 4 people, 5 people that are saying, hey, Josh, when you're done with Mark, can we talk? This is a lot,
Okay.
in my opinion. Go ahead.
So how do you do that?
Well, I'm saying a couple of things. You might have a gift certificate in which I say to you, Josh, I'm going to give you this gift certificate, and provided you turn me on to 3, 4, 5 people before this job is complete, whereas I would have normally grossed $1,000, I'm happy to gross $700, and I will give you that $300 spread in my price, provided you talk me up on social media, you talk me up in the Facebook group you're in, you talk me up in the physical group that meets once a month on Zoom. As long as you spread my name, I know, just like McDonald's says, would you like fries with that? They're not banking on everybody saying yes, correct?
Well, no.
Right. So they know a percentage of the people they say, would you like fries with that, are going to say yes. 10 to 40% of their daily foot traffic worldwide says yes. And then, Josh, they take the next step, which is what? They say, supersize you. Now, look at the additional padded profit in there. One customer said yes to an upsell and a second upsell. And in your case, they're selling it retail. You and I don't have to do that, in my opinion. I'm saying if I can get 4 customers and make a $600-700 profit per, instead of holding out on, well, I'm going to get $1,000 out of this job, but then how long does it take you to nail down the next assignment?
So why would I give away $300 when I can just ask you to do a Google review? And if you like it, you'll do it.
Well, that's true. But here's the difference. Okay, I'm glad you said that. Here's the difference. You got 2 vendors. One guy does what you suggest, and I say, hey, Josh, I'm going to give you a $300 discount or a $200 discount. Which one are you more likely to lean towards?
Well, I'm sure not going to do it up front, because how do I know they're actually going to do it?
Oh,
I mean,
well,
this is
that's
I mean, you have to understand, Mark, that we're talking about a very, very different industry. We're in the construction world all the time. And when we ask somebody, gee, will you give us a Google review? If they like what you do and they tend to do introductions, they'll be glad to do it.
well, that
I
okay. That's great. What I'm saying is, when you incentivize something, like, in other words, if HBO says, hey, sign up for this and we'll give you 2 months free, you're more likely to sign up to get the additional 2 months, and then you'll brag about it. You don't have to give a $300 price. You might have something on the back end, Josh, another vendor you're joint venturing with, and you say, hey, when you do this for me, I'm going to do that for you. It's the same difference. Go ahead and pocket the $1,000 if you want. What I'm trying to do is incentivize that customer to not only do it for you, but to brag about it. And that
Well,
word of
so
mouth and mouth.
let's think about this for a
Okay.
second. How else could you incentivize a customer besides giving them money?
Again, it depends. Oh, for instance, tell me 3 other vendors that are likely to have the same ideal
Well,
customer.
I'm just going to I'm going to use myself as an example. Okay, if you as a contractor came to me and said, I'm going to give you $300 off if you do social media, not only would you not get me to do it, I'd decide to use another contractor.
Well, okay,
To
you
me,
may be
to
the
me,
1 out
to
of
me,
5.
you're trying to just hear me out, please. What that appears to me is you're asking me to do something whether I may or may not want to do, and I have no idea whether I want to recommend you until you've done the work.
Agreed. But I think I don't want to say stuck. What you're focused on is the fact of the
You could say
retail
stuck.
price.
That's okay.
No. What I'm suggesting is, just like we're on this podcast live. Here's what I'm suggesting. You know your cost. You also know about how long it would take you to do the job. So let's suppose you say to me, say, Mark, would you give me a review on Yelp? Absolutely. Is there anything wrong from that moment on with me offering you some type of ethical bribe from another vendor, maybe one of their gift certificates? Would you have a problem with that?
No, I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Exactly. So that widget might cost me $75, but to you, it's worth $300. Well, I don't see why that would be a problem for you.
Well, it's not especially a problem. I'm just saying, if I want to build my business, I want to build a repeat business, I might give you a frequent buyer program that if you spend X amount of dollars with me over a period of time, I'll give you some sort of a discount.
That absolutely
You know, you,
makes sense. But again, let's be you. If I say get two numbers to get to 10, you might use 8 plus 2. I might use 9 plus 1. The next one might use 7 plus 3. We're all getting to the same place, are we not?
well, hopefully,
Well, mathematically, that's 10. So my point is, in
yes.
your case, you're more of a bottom lines dollar guy, and you're saying, hey, Mark, listen, that $300 discount doesn't work for me. Fine. Don't take it out of your pocket. Let your vendor help you ethically bribe one of your best customers. And I guarantee you, you're going to get more positive word of mouth, pardon me, and mouse, because you're going to be happy and satisfied. And you're going to be bragging to your friends. And that's what I want. And I could also do this. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I can also do this. I can look around at a situation and see that you need something and say, hey, Ron, normally Josh, pardon me, that would cost me $200. I'll do it for you for 150. That's the kind of thing, if you got the $200, I'm saying, that's the kind of thing that's going to make me, when I'm out with the guys, say, hey, man, you know what? I just got this situation. The guy saved me $50. Who is this? Mark Newsome. Oh, wait a minute. I've seen this guy's ads. That's a much more powerful form of marketing than running a pay-per-click advertisement, in my opinion.
Well, that may be. So, how do you get your ideal customer to enthusiastically enter your sales funnel? And a sales funnel, by the way, for those who are thinking, is a sales process that customers would go through to decide whether they want to or not do business with you.
Well, let's. You know what? Can I use a really I hope hits home example? Do you
Sure,
happen to offer a book to your guest?
I do.
Okay. We're going to say you and I go way back. I know you have this book, and I say, hey, Josh, I got a powerful offer for your customers that's ideal. It's non-directly competing with you. And you say, well, let me see what it is, Mark. It turns out I've got this project widget. I don't know what it is, a service. All I want you to do is stick my time-sensitive flyer, market tested, by the way, inside with your order. And everybody who orders, let's say I got a 40% spread. I will give you half, 20%, but the moment you reach 20 customers or X, I'm going to give you 80% over my cost because I've got a back end that I'm going to work. And you look at that and you say, wow, Mark, that allows me to do a little bit more now because of this additional cash flow that I didn't even realize was there or I wasn't taking advantage of. And I say, absolutely. And I can also go a little further. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, Josh and I understand this concept. So let me be crystal clear. Here's what I need you to do. I want you to Google lifetime customer value. Go to YouTube, watch a couple of videos so you get this concept down. So this doesn't seem so murky. But the point is, now, if Josh wanted to, he can go deeper on the front end in terms of advertising or marketing because now he's got a cushion. Whereas before, his spread would be shrinking if he increased his upfront cost. In
Okay.
essence,
Okay, Mark, I want to interrupt you, not because I don't agree with you,
oh,
because I
no,
do
no,
agree
I'm
with you
sorry.
here. But what I want you to do is what you're describing is something which is really, really powerful. And people in the contracting world almost never use it. It's called affiliate marketing. So, can you explain what affiliate marketing is? And then we can say, gee, how do you use that in the construction world?
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, in my world, we would call it joint venturing. It's the same concept. Like I just said, 7 plus 3, 8 plus 2. Here's a contractor. Here's what you should be looking around. Your ideal customer needs other stuff, like maybe retail furniture, maybe retail appliances. Do you realize a retailer who goes on local radio and television in your area? 3 things. Number 1, nobody can run one prime time radio or television ad and expect to get business. It's not going to happen. You may as well take the money and light it on fire. Okay. If the average retailer has to go between, what is it, Josh, 7 and 21, what we call exposures or touches, and if each ad, let's just say, costs between $700 and $1,500, do you not think they would be very happy for you to refer them a potential customer and pay you $150 to $300 for that exact same lead? You better believe they would. In fact, it could get to the point that they're financing your advertising for you. Now, how would that work for your cash flow?
So I'm going to give you a real world example of a client of ours who we're asking to do an affiliate program, or recommending that they think about doing an affiliate program. And this is how it would work. They're a window and door installer. Now, if you're going to sell your house, there's a pretty good chance you need to bring your house up to a certain level before you market it, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, so who would the likely people be that might know about people getting ready to sell their house?
Maybe your local realtor?
Right, your local real estate agent. So what I've recommended to him is he finds the local real estate agents that work with $1 million plus houses, because that's his marketplace. I said, if you could set up an affiliate relationship with her where she gets a commission on any recommendation she makes that would result in a sale for you, you can afford to give her 3%, 5%, 8% of what that sale is. And these sales sometimes are as high as $100,000. So the real estate agent gets an $8,000 commission, which is not as much as selling a house, but it's still better than a poke in the eye.
You got that right.
You have a reputation as being a great vendor, and you need to have that reputation as being really good before you even think about asking somebody for an affiliate relationship.
True. Excellent point.
Now you've got a $100,000 sale with an $8,000 sale cost, which is less than what your sales cost would be for your own sales team.
Ladies and gentlemen, boy, Josh, you nailed it. You please play this back, ladies and gentlemen, because he's just giving you an incredible education in less than 2 minutes. And I would just piggyback, Josh, because you're spot on. One other thing to think about. I mean, there's several things, but listen to what he said. Number one, $1 million marketplace. Ideal customer base. Would it not behoove you to hook that realtor up at your cost with some fancy doors so that when their guests come to the house, who did these doors? They're beautiful. Oh, that's Josh Patrick. Wow. You know what? I got some special gift certificates he allows me to give away. They're time sensitive. You need to contact him. Boom. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, you could go from one house to 4 on one block, or 5 or 6 in one geographical area, doing exactly what Josh is telling you. And how many of these, no offense, do you think you need? Are you kidding me? What about the mortgage broker who only does loans between $500,000 and $5 million? You think their house?
Well, mortgage broker would not nearly be as good for an affiliate relationship, and the reason
No,
is
maybe not. But I'm
the
saying
mortgage broker. Well, look at Mark. Let's just an affiliate relationship in the contracting world. We don't like giving gift certificates. We don't like giving dollars off. I'm happy to give something for a sale that happens, not for something that might happen. I spend a lot of time and a lot of effort getting nowhere. We've been in this world for a really long time. And when you're working with affiliates, you got to be careful about who you're making your affiliate with that will likely create business. Does that make sense?
In fact, wait a minute. Yes. And I was going to say, this gets down. This is another incredible point you're bringing up, the 80-20 rule. So what Josh is saying is that particular strategy will probably be in the 80%. So don't waste any time on it, but you need to test. If your testing proves, I'm not really getting that many leads from, stop. Put your efforts where the 20% is producing consistently the most bang for your buck. That's what marketing and advertising and promoting is all about. Everything you and I do is not going to work. It's just impossible. So what you have to figure out, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, what you have to figure out is exactly what he's saying. Where are your efforts the most leverageable, if that's the word, and where are you consistently getting the most bang for your buck? Because once you figure that out, You laser focus. You don't need to do these other things. It's a waste of your time and your effort. Like you said, you've got a set cost. Well, not a set, but a certain amount of cost is built into generating business. You don't have time to go off on a tangent that's just not panning out. Now, see, you're educating me because, again, I don't know the nuances, but you do. And that's what's important. So you got to figure out, where are your strengths in the marketing? And when you do,
what Mark is talking about, by the way, and what we're having our conversation and a bit of a disagreement on, is industry. Not every strategy works in every industry. You know, when I used to be in the life insurance business, you'd have people come in and they try to sell a product that didn't fit in the right place. They had one tool, it was a hammer. And everything to that life insurance agent looked like a nail.
Exactly.
And the truth is, what Mark has been describing is fabulously successful in coffee shops, sandwich shops, retail shops, any place where people would walk in and buy stuff potentially 3, 4, 5, 6 times a week. In the contracting world, which all you folks know, you don't build a house every week. You build a house every 7, 8, 10, 12 years. You don't replace your windows every year or even every 4 years. It's every 10 or 12 years. So you have to have a strategy that works with the industry that you're in. So It's really important you realize what strategy you're working with and what's the propensity the probability for that to work in your industry. Testing is always great, but use a little common sense before you go off on a long test that's going to likely not give you a great result.
Dave, you're exactly right. And I would add one other thing to exactly what you're saying. You could start with the back end, meaning the mortgage broker who leads you to the realtors. Because remember, the mortgage broker needs the realtors. That's their lifeblood. So the more they could open several doors for you. You don't have to do business per se with the mortgage broker, but you could leverage their relationships. They've already built them. Now you're not an outsider.
Potentially.
Right?
So,
I mean, what I'm
Mark,
saying is just like what you said. You got to know where to put your efforts. Everything, like you said, isn't going to work, but you don't need everything to work, ladies and gentlemen. You need to discover as quickly as you can, where is your money magnets. When you figure out where your money magnets are, you build out from there. But you don't want to spray and pray, pardon me, in my opinion. What you want, like you said, I would get a list, 5, 6 industries, and start from there. And you'll quickly figure out, like he said, which one of these, if any, in this group is likely to give me that 20% that creates the 80%, instead of the 80% or the 90% that only produces the 10%. Once you figure that out, you've got a powerful strategy and asset that you can leverage from now on. That example you did with the realtor and the doors, you could, do workshops, like, for instance.
Yeah, Mark, we're out of time.
Okay, my friend.
And I'm going to bet that people are going to be interested in having a conversation about you, especially for those folks who are listening that may not be in the contracting world. I know there's a bunch of you out there. So, Mark, how would someone find you, and what sort of, do you have an email address, a website you want them to go to? How would they find you?
Thank you, Josh. This was a fabulous opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd love for you to drop by my house, my blog, canmarketonlinenow.com. There is a 9-page special report there. I'd love for you to get it. Please don't feel under any obligation. It also has a 22-part sequential follow-up small business marketing mastery series. Please feel free to join my list. And if for whatever reason you feel it's just not your thing, please unsubscribe anytime you want. We could still be friends. No hard feelings.
Hey, I got 2 things I'd like you to do. And the first you've heard me say about, close to 350 times, but I like to say 30,000 times because sometimes it feels that way. But at any rate, wherever you listen to this podcast, please give us an honest rating and review. If you love us, say you love us. If you don't, well, you can do that too. And while you're there, I assume if you don't love us, you're not going to want to subscribe. But if you do love us, subscribe. We come out with a new episode every Monday. And I would love to have you as a regular listener to Cracking the Cash Flow Code. The second thing is I've written a second book, and it's really easy to get. And it's also a great deal if you buy it off my book website, which is www.salereadycompany.com. That's www.saleready.com. And if you get it on my website, you get it for $7.95 versus $14.95. We have a bunch of really kind of cool bonuses. And if you want, you can have a free 20-minute conversation with me about what you're thinking about when it comes to creating a sale-ready company. I can guarantee you, you're going to get at least one piece of great take-home information. Hey, this is Josh Patrick. You're with Mark Newsome. You're at Cracking the Cash Flow Code. Thanks a lot for stopping by. I hope to see you back here really soon.